Hey you guys, I hope you are all well. Welcome to another Breaking Trails vlog with me, M. Johnson Photography. Before we get into the vlog, I just want to say a massive thank you to onecameraonelens.com for sponsoring my channel. If you're looking for a website, a domain with hints, tips, tricks, vlogs, blogs, whatever you're looking for to do with photography, then make onecameraonelens.com your choice. Today you join me in Neath Abbey, which is in the town of Neath, which is just outside of Swansea. It's about 20 minutes from where I live, and I can't believe I have never been here before. I mean, look at the beautiful Abbey behind me. It's absolutely breathtaking. The plan was for today to head over to a landmark named Light Vessel 72. Light Vessel 72, from what I've read, is an old World War II D-Day landings boat or ship, but it's very tricky to get to. There's a scrapyard literally just outside of the path where you need to go, and they don't take too kindly for people walking through. So yeah, today we are in Neath Abbey. I'm planning on taking plenty of photos and of course taking you guys with me. So without any further ado, let's get trailing. Okay, as we head into Neath Abbey itself, there is an information board just outside. Tells you all about the history of Neath Abbey itself. It is free entry as well, so there's no need to pay. No entry fee into the abbey itself. Believe it or not, it was closed by Henry VIII in 1539. Sir Richard Williams bought it, and by around 1560 the abbot's house and part of the monks' quarters had been transformed into a fashionable Tudor mansion. You can still see the elegant Tudor windows. So yeah, let's head in, take some shots. So I've just taken a few shots of the Abbey just behind me here, in front of me here. I've taken a few handheld shots just to get kind of a different perspective on the Abbey itself. But I've actually set up the tripod now, as you can see, because I wanted to get a nice clear shot without any kind of camera movement or camera shake at all. And the good thing about Neath Abbey is it's a static object. I mean, it's not going to move. You know, you don't have to fiddle around with the settings quickly, you know, because you're going to miss the opportunity. You can take your time with static objects like this. I mean, you can take your time figuring out what kind of composition works for you. And also with a tripod, you can also get away with longer shutter speed. Not that I want a long exposure on this, because there's just no point. You're not capturing anything moving. Whether you are in light trails and water flowing, you can capture movement with long exposure. The only reason I wanted a longer shutter speed on the tripod is because I've closed the aperture to f14. I've closed the aperture ring up to f14. Meaning there's not as much light coming into the camera, so I needed to bring the shutter speed down a bit so the camera could absorb more light. And obviously with a smaller aperture, a higher f number, you're going to get a bigger depth of field, where, you know, if you've got an aperture of f5 or f8, you got kind of a shallow depth of field with an f8. And I want to get the whole Abbey in the frame, so I've gone for a higher aperture. But I think it's worked out pretty well. Got it on a 5-second timer just so I can make sure that any camera shake is eliminated. And yeah, we'll see how we go. Quite sure what this area of the Abbey used to be. It looks like this is some sort of second room, because you come through here and it's a pretty much identical room. There's 2 rooms, but then in here you've got, it's like a monastery of some sort, or the ruins of it at least. I've taken some interesting compositions in this part of the Abbey. I've taken one just on the side by here on the wall, so you can make out the 2 windows in the foreground by there. I've taken them head on, and I've taken them from the side as well, just to get a different perspective, because with composition, if you keep things too central to the frame, then obviously it doesn't make the picture very interesting. It doesn't make it very exciting. So the best way to overcome that is just to try different compositions, different ways of shooting, different angles. Not everything has to be dead center. But yeah, very interesting. Okay, I'm just about ready to take my next shot. Literally just come out the doorway up there, and I spotted these the beautiful composition on these ruins by here. And what I like about this shot are the daisies that are going along the foreground just in front of the Abbey. I think the contrast between that and the green of the grass and the greyness of the Abbey is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to get a quick shot of this now. Again, I'm going to be shooting at f14 aperture. I'm going to be keeping the ISO down to 100. I've got it on the tripod, so don't have to worry about camera shake. I don't have to worry about ISO too much, because I can just bring the shutter down. You can keep the ISO as low as you want, as long as you're using a tripod to get that camera movement eliminated when you're using longer shutter speeds. So for example, I'm on 1/80th of a second. If I was, let me just set this up for a shot. If I was to use 1/80th of a second, or even 100th of a second handheld, then I will probably more than likely notice some camera shake in my shots. But again, because I'm using a tripod, that's not really an issue for me. I can get away with a longer shutter speed. No need for a polarizer today, because the sun is kind of coming in and out of the clouds. So there's not really any need for any filters or a polarizer, at least. Yeah, so we're going to continue our journey and see what else we can find. I think is the actual monastery itself, or well, the ruins anyway. There are these large boulders by there. I'm not sure if they're parts of the building that's actually collapsed, or they were foundations for something else. My guessing is they're actually rubble that's actually collapsed from the abbey itself. As you can see, the tops of the abbey there are in quite a sorry state. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful view, it's a beautiful scene. Again, I've got on the tripod, I've kept the same settings that I've used on the tripod for today, because I think the settings that I've got on it now work perfectly with the weather conditions, and obviously with the lighting as well. I think the camera settings work perfectly today, which is f14 on the aperture, 1/80th of a second for the shutter speed, and keeping it at 100 ISO. You could bump the ISO up if you didn't have a tripod and you wanted to shoot handheld. You could get away with about 400 to 800 ISO, depending on lighting situations, because what I've learnt is, even though I love keeping it at 100 ISO and I hate moving away from that number because of noise, digital noise, it doesn't really affect the graininess of the image unless you're shooting at a really high ISO, like 1600 ISO or 2000 and whatever ISO. I mean, if you keep it between 100 and 800 ISO, then I think you're fine. You probably won't notice any digital noise with that kind of numbers on the ISO. So don't be afraid to bump it up if you really need to. Like I said, I hate doing it, but if I need to, I will bump it up to 200. 800 is the maximum I will go. I won't shoot any higher than that. But yeah, anyway, onwards and upwards. There's a little plaque just by the abbey itself. I did state wrong. They moved 4,000 tons of debris from this church, revealing a beautiful stonework carved over 600 years ago. This tablet is erected by Lord Denver and the members of the research party who laboured with him in this work, as a lasting memorial to an inspirer, scholar and a friend. 4,000 tons of rubble. That's a lot of rubble. So that's it, guys. That is the end of the vlog from Breaking Trails here at Neath Abbey. I hope you enjoyed. If you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, the like button, and hit that notification bell, because that'll tell you every time I upload something new. But that's it from me, guys. Until next time, keep safe and keep on trailing.